All right, gentlemen, enough friggin' around.
Sorry.
Let's start the friggin' podcast.
Hello, and welcome to a very special audio-only episode of Funbearable. I am Brad Rohr.
I am Chuck Staten.
Oh, no, we're going in a different direction now.
I forgot which direction. I also looked at the screen and was like, oh my God, who comes next? Who comes next?
I'm Ray friggin' Harrington.
Perfect.
And I'm Chuck. I thought we were doing video Staten. I
Yeah.
got a haircut. What the hell?
No, we're not.
I got my eyebrows threaded. I got these nails.
That's the haircut you went with?
A beehive. What? That's current.
Yes.
No, listen, Chuck, we talked about this before. Threading is a process where they kind of clean up your eyebrows. It's not adding threads of hair to your eyebrows. You have a weave in your eyebrows right now. I mean,
They use
the viewer listener can't see this, but it's a weave.
They're doing a reboot of American Pie, and I wanted to try out for the dad.
nice.
There you go. Eugene
Thanks,
Levy.
Brad.
You walked
Yeah,
in and
that's
you
right.
went, give me the Levy.
Yeah, right. They said the levee ran dry.
And they went, what, the old guy or the gay guy? Which one do you want? And then you went,
What?
one of them's straight?
Is I think people always compare me to the young one, right? Isn't that weird? Is it that one or is it somebody else? He's on Schitt's Creek. The guys that
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
thinking
young
of.
one.
But no,
is
both
him?
of them are on Schitt's Creek.
Oh, they're both on Schitt's Creek. Well, yeah. Well, I mean that one, the one that has like thick eyebrows and he's not old.
Okay.
So it's got to be that one.
I do like the idea. The comedy version of this is that you're referring to Eugene Levy, American Pie dad, as the young one because you think there's an incredibly old man who is like a different Levy.
yeah, Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Mel Levy, right?
That would be the worst name ever.
Mel Levy?
M-E-L. Yeah, Mel Levy. So how are you guys doing, man?
You know, still climbing that mountain.
Are you?
Yeah.
You sure you didn't freeze halfway up?
So you know how I'm old?
Yeah, I do. Oh my God.
Almost
Went
as
for a
old
walk.
as
Yo,
that,
this
that
Eugene
young Levy.
Yes. In fact, young Levy calls me old Levy. I went for a walk tonight. You know, it's 1 mile from my house to Chuck's house. So I walk there, I walk back. That's it. 2 miles, nice, easy walk, headphones in. I got about halfway there tonight, and my right knee just locked up to the point where I was sitting on the sidewalk debating, like, do I call an Uber to get the half mile home? Because I'm in so much pain. And, you know, I was like, all right, let me walk from here to like the gas station and I'll sit on like the light pole at the gas station. And it was basically that, you know, walk 3 houses and stop and rest the whole way home.
Hi, 911. Yeah, this is the guy that works at the gas station again. He's still out there. He's still out there.
I have 2 things I got to say. One, just so people understand, Brad did not walk to my house where I was and then walk away and get his knee locked up and I didn't help. I'm not at my house.
Yes.
He just walks there as a marker.
Yes.
And 2, I guess I never really thought about knee locking up. I don't know what that means. I guess I always thought it meant you had a pre-existing knee injury and it reactivated in some way.
I don't know what happened. It was just a lot of pain right under the kneecap and working its way around. And the only way I could walk is if I turned my foot like 90 degrees to the outside and just kind of swung it. I couldn't flex my knee.
I'm
Damn.
just picturing you as like a verbal Kent from Usual Suspects walking
There
down
was
the
a little
sidewalk.
bit of that. Yeah. I also masterminded a heist.
Oh, I didn't think that sentence was going to end with minded a heist.
Yes. I also mastered something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we'll catch up on things, but we should probably talk about the digital elephant in the electronic room, which is that we're on a Zoom.
That was the original name of Blade Runner, wasn't it?
Yep.
Zoom?
Digital
Brad got
elephant. Yep.
That Brad got it.
Yeah.
It's for literary people to get. So
Are we talking about do robots dream of electric sheep?
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
wow,
sorry.
Ray didn't even know it. Wow,
It's all right.
see?
Chuck did the same thing last week. And then he's like, oh, like robots dreaming of and I'm like, nope.
Well, me and Ray are the same, have same intellect.
Yes.
Anyway,
You know what? This is bullying.
We're on a Zoom. Things have been busy. We've all
Yeah,
been going for walks and getting pain just from walking.
Well, some of us have. That's definitely true. Yeah, we've been busy. And obviously, I will say this: we don't, we're staying away from Zooms for the most part.
Yeah.
But this is episode 84, I believe, and this is only our second Zoom episode. And I think we've done like 10 bonuses as well.
Yeah, too much. Some would say. Experts would say. Judges would say.
So
Listeners.
I think, so we want to apologize up front for it being a Zoom episode, but I think we have a pretty good record of not doing this and only resorting to it when emergency calls. And you know what? Some people would say, oh, it's okay if we don't do an episode this week, but not the Fun Bear Man gig, guys. Well, hold on. I did want to ask this.
I thought, oh, God, because of the Zoom quality, I thought you said the Fun Bear gay guys.
That's what he said.
Okay.
I said the Fun Bear Man gang guys. I said gang.
Okay. Man gang?
And I also said man. Man gang was our original podcast name. And no, it was funny because, the listeners are Fun Bears.
Yeah.
So we're not Fun Bears, and I always thought we'd be the Fun Bear Jamboree, but it's so long.
Yeah.
It's long.
I think we're the Fun Boys.
They're bears and we're boys, but that seems I'd rather be a bear than a boy.
I don't know that I can be a fun anything.
So you're just a boy.
Yeah.
That's
Standing
fair.
in front of a girl.
Well, I think this is good because this feels very behind the scenes BTS. It feels very
Yes.
We always talk about pulling back the curtain. We've completely done that. We're behind it right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it does feel almost like an admin. We're getting together to have a conversation about the podcast, where we are. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to bring up what I wanted to bring up. And you might have noticed I dropped a certain word a few times right at the very beginning of this here episode.
Robot?
No, I said that one time. And I did drop it
Knee.
surreptitiously.
Did you say your knee hurt?
No, that was Brad.
That's me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, sidebar. My knee does hurt right now. My left knee hurts because I did a whole lot of driving in my Subaru Crosstrek, and I am 6'7". It not built for me.
No.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
We got to get you a Cybertruck.
No, they dream of electric sheep, I heard.
Yes, they do.
This is my proposal. I propose we change the name of the podcast to The Frig-Around, and we start calling it The Frig-Around.
The Frigger. I like that.
And people will call it the Frigcast, and I think that's and we're the Friggers.
I don't know if I love that.
You don't want to be a Frigger?
I'll say this. I would do like a morning show, live stream show called The Frig Around. Just every day, Monday through Friday. We're competing with Good Morning America and the Today Show and all that. But like,
We'll crush them.
we're like youthful and cool. Well, we're cool. Well,
I feel like it's
different.
an attempt at youthful and cool, but it's more just a like a youth pastor
yes.
being like, I'm edgy. I'll frig around, but he looks around before he says it. I'll frig around.
And then
You little
immediately sign of the cross.
Well, who were you calling a little frig one time? Remember that, Ray? What was that
Oh,
from?
who wasn't I calling a little frig?
You were like, that little frig.
Yeah,
Remember that?
I can't remember what it was. There was some kind of character
Brad?
thing. I can't remember.
I don't know if it was like Child's Play, like Chucky, or some kind of little like leprechaun or something.
You little frig. Yeah.
Is it Jigsaw? The Jigsaw?
It was
puppet?
Jigsaw.
It was Jigsaw.
It was
It was
Jigsaw.
it was the puppet.
Frigsaw.
It was the puppet.
Yeah, right. I get it.
But speaking of character stuff, and I don't know why character stuff reminded me of this, but our most recent episode that went out, I wasn't on the podcast.
Yeah, Charlton Heston stepped in ably.
Yeah, famous. Well, let's not say ably, but famed actor Charlton Heston, and it went the way I thought it might. There were some people that really enjoyed it. I got some nice messages, and that was cool. I would say for Charlton Heston, very clearly, making things up on the fly. I think it was very funny, and it did to me, just watching it as an outsider. It did to me feel like there were so many moments where the two of you really had him like ducking and dodging and you know what I mean, and coming up with stuff real quick off the fly, and it was fun to watch.
It was very
from
fun.
outside of my body. It was very fun. It was very fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be polite to the guests, but hey, once in a while you got to push back on things.
Oh, he sent me a long email afterwards, and it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough stuff. But yeah, we've all been doing all bunches of things. I've been doing some shows. The world has been happening. The Oscars happened.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to tell people.
Yeah,
I'm like usually when we're recording, we have to get ready and showered and do our hair and everything. I'm wearing a shirt, and what it is the top half of a reindeer outfit. I'm not even joking. That's what I put on today as I'm just staying in today and editing, and then I'm just going to do an audio podcast. I didn't shower. You can see how greasy my hair is. I'm unshaven. My inversion table is in my shot. I can see that.
But Chuck, this is not going out as video.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm describing it, because people cannot see it. So I'm telling them what it's like.
But you're apologizing for something they can't see.
I didn't apologize.
You did. You didn't?
Nope. No, I don't think I did, Brad.
I wasn't listening. I got to say, Ray and I look super handsome.
Brad, you look like the sunrise. It looks like your shirt is a mountain.
I'm beautiful,
and
like
you're
the sunrise.
You're the little
Wow.
baby sun in Teletubbies looking over the hill.
I'm the sun, and Juliet is the east.
Yeah, but yeah, no. So it's kind of fun to do.
That's
a relaxed
disgusting,
one
Brad.
like
She's
this.
a child.
It's Juliet's mom is the east.
I think it would be better if every time there's a performance of Romeo and Juliet, if every 3 or 4 lines they have to look out into the audience and be like, now I'm supposed to be 12 years old.
Yep.
I think that would be fun.
So by the way, you brought up the Oscars, Ray. I did not watch, but I heard. Let's see, what did I hear? I heard that Spider-Verse didn't win for the best animated feature, which a lot of people thought that it would.
Yeah.
And also, I heard this, and I wanted to ask you if you knew this, both of you guys. Christopher Nolan won. I don't know if he won for Best Director. Is that what he won for? Mm-hmm. For Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Today,
also
there
won
was
Best Picture.
Okay, there was an article released in the past couple days, and it said that he made $100 million for Oppenheimer, and part of it was a bonus for winning Best Director at the Academy Awards.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I understand the idea of it's kind of a famous story that Robert Downey Jr. negotiated his contract for Avengers for less money than they offered him, but a percentage of how much money it made in theaters.
Yeah.
And that ballooned his his pay from $40 million to $80 million or something. But I didn't know that if you win an Academy Award, that can be part of your back end deal as well. I never heard of that before.
Yeah, that is interesting.
He made $100 million for it, and it said that part of it was how much it was his initial fee, how much it made in theaters, and his bonus for winning Best Director.
Huh.
Very strange.
That is odd. And you know what? Shout out to Yorgos Lanthimos, your boy Yorgos Lanthimos, the director of Poor Things.
What did Poor Things win?
Well, Emma Stone won Best Actress for her performance.
Awesome.
And it's tough because a lot of the dialogue around it, a lot of the conversation is how Lily Gladstone should have won, and it's and I'm like, okay, I understand the argument for sure, but Emma Stone's performance in Poor Things, is so clearly deserving of an Oscar. Right. And I think Lily Gladstone's performance is as well. But it's not a case of they didn't give it to this person, but they gave it to somebody who, I don't think they deserved it or earned it or whatever. I think the performance that she has to do that changes every few scenes and is so physical and outward is pretty impressive. But Yorgos Lanthimos, his last 2 films, the lead women both won Best Actress. So that's pretty cool.
Wow. That is really cool. I gotta see that movie.
Yeah. Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. There's so much sex. There's so much sex. There's so much nudity. You will love it.
That's how I rate movies. That's the only way I watch them now.
Can we talk about that for a second? Actually, I know this wasn't on the books.
Right.
There's a weird thing going on I'm worried about where we are as a society with our sensibilities. There's a big discussion around sex scenes and like nudity in film and stuff like that. And there's like a push for like this prudish, like it doesn't need to be there. It's not necessary. It's just gross and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I mean, if it's exploitative, yeah, I agree. But you can't tell me there aren't stories where that is important to the story being told.
There's an actor, I forget who he's in. He's in something huge that we all are very familiar with from when we were kids. I forget what it was, but he said that he refuses to even he refuses to even kiss other actresses in roles that he's in, and it's lost him a lot of parts. Isn't that weird though?
Yeah. It was Kit, the car.
I heard it was Mike Pence.
He doesn't have a mouth. That's why he won't kiss him.
No, you could totally kiss that weird light bar that goes right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
You could do that. You could put your fingers in his tape deck. I think that's how you finger Kit. I think that's how you finger Kit is you put your finger in the tape deck of the dash. No?
I think
or
so.
Mr. Feeney.
Okay, I think I found the article. I think his name, which we're not going to recognize his name, it's Neil McDonough, but he's in something that we know. Neil McDonough. Today I learned Neil McDonough refused to kiss co-stars. Let me see. I want to look this up just because I thought it was weird. Yeah, here he is. He's in Band of Brothers. He's a big person in Band of Brothers. He's in Yellowstone. I think he's in some basically war stuff and Western stuff. Oh, Minority Report. Oh, he's Dum Dum Dugan in Captain America. He's in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, he refuses to kiss co-stars. He'll only do roles where he doesn't have to kiss anybody.
Why? That's like, I mean,
I don't know.
Like, I wouldn't do that to my wife. Is that like what he's going for?
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah.
All right, then, don't. If that's your line, like that's your personal line, so don't. And saying like, I lost parts. Well, like, don't audition for something where you know that there's going to be, this scene. Can you imagine that? Just be no, I won't do it.
Yeah, you want to hear it? You want to hear that? Here's what it says. It says Neil McDonough, best known for his role as Lieutenant Buck Compton in Band of Brothers, is the ideal husband. He often plays a villain in movies. In a resurfaced video, the Yellowstone star that he's nearly lost everything after he refused to film sex or any kissing scenes with other actresses. The actor said he had a few conditions when he was hired to be on Desperate Housewives. He would not kiss his on-screen wife or do sex scenes. Then when he was cast as a sexual deviant for Boomtown, I would have been like, should I go out for this sexual deviant?
yeah. What part am I auditioning for? Sex deviant.
That's amazing.
When he was cast as a sexual deviant for Boomtown, he told director Steven Spielberg the same thing. The man was going to stay faithful to his wife no matter what, Ray.
Oh, my God.
Unfortunately, this led to him getting blackballed and he lost everything. They said, you have to do it. We're going to fire you. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do it. They fired me. I was blackballed for 2 years. I was blackballed from playing sexual deviants because I would refuse.
He did not say sexual deviants.
Yeah,
I lost everything. I lost all the parts for sex deviants, sex pests, pedophiles.
Anyway, so what movie you're going out for, Neil? It's this movie called Kissing Booth. I'm the main character. Now, I have some demands.
This movie that I'm going for, I thought it was a Christian film. It's called 7 Minutes in Heaven. And when I walked in for the table read, I was shocked.
I thought it would be about a guy who dies and comes back to life, and he's spent time in heaven and knows how great it is. Nope.
Isn't that so funny? Isn't that wicked funny?
So now my agent makes sure to say he won't kiss and he won't hold a man's hand.
Yeah.
None of these things can happen. It's just weird. Like, I if somebody is uncomfortable with like a sex scene, absolutely, I get that entirely. I understand. I get it. It's weird. It's vulnerable. It's like the least sexy thing that can be happening. All that stuff. I totally get it. But when it comes to like acting in stuff, like and stories being told, it is an odd thing. So this is on the side of like the performers, but there is a weird thing happening where like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, sex scenes aren't needed. Like the sex scene that's in Oppenheimer, we were just talking about that. There were people like genuinely upset that nudity was in that movie.
Which is really weird to me because to me that's the perfect example of a non-exploitative sex scene.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it shortcuts it, you know? It's I don't know. It's
What
very
do you say,
strange.
Brad?
People are tripping. I was definitely. I don't want to say I was of that camp for a while, but I was near the campground.
Yeah, that's how you got that. That's how you got your first felony.
Yes, that's how I got labeled a sex deviant.
But
Number
Brad,
one.
If that's how they worked, though, you got to think your favorite movie, Barbed Wire, would be like 6 minutes long.
I know.
And still sucks.
Wait, what campground were you near? What are you talking about? You thought that
the
no
idea
sex scenes
of
in
like,
movies?
there's too much sex in movies. I wrote a paper on it, I think in high school.
Really?
When I
you were in high
was,
school.
oh my gosh.
You know what, though? It sucks you can't read it because he left it with the bomb in that building.
It was.
I mean,
no, the bomb didn't go off. We're okay.
It sucks because you left it in those blankets we gave the Native Americans.
They used the back of it to write the Declaration of Independence.
Oh boy. I wrote a paper, but I think I was like heavily influenced. Like my parents, pretty conservative folks, and they were like, "There's too much sex in TV." They don't have an accent. I don't know why I gave them one.
And they had little guns, and they were going pew pew pew.
But it works. And so I wrote a paper about the decline in morals, and I was in 9th grade.
Yeah.
And so the idea of I'm like, remember how great things used to be, but
Well,
like.
it's funny because I was going to say, like, depending on when you said it, I think that there probably is a rash of adult shows that maybe go to it too much. Like, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but do you feel like maybe Game of Thrones didn't need to go to it as much as they did?
No, I think personally, I think Game of Thrones was fine. I think for me, if it feels connected to the story and there's a reason for this thing. I understand, like, sometimes there's kind of, mindless stuff there, but overall I think it was handled well with Game of Thrones. I think there was a kerfuffle about a particular sexual assault scene with Sansa getting married against her will, but that's difficult because it's like, well, yeah, it's bad. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think there were people angry that they depicted it, but it's like, well, what do? Do you just close the door, cut, and then the next day have somebody go, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I sympathize with some people who are like, oh, there might be some too much stuff, but I'm not really in that camp. I almost just like understand that some people feel that way, and I don't know. Especially with something like Oppenheimer, though, I think that is weird.
Right.
I can't think of any movies that are at that level of artistry that are exploitative. Do you know what I mean?
Like, Poor Things, yeah, it's a lot of sex. There's a lot of nudity in that film. It's about a woman, there's a lot to unpack with Poor Things.
Yeah.
Boiling it down,
I know about it.
Part of her liberation is her sexual liberation. Then comes the rest of her liberation, right? And that's a part of it. And I think that were you to remove all of those things, yes, you could cut it in a certain way where it's like you don't really see anything. You dance around it a little bit, but at some point there has to be this. There's a reason why you're showing things in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? It's showing power dynamics. It's showing where a character may be at. If they're fully naked and comfortable, that tells you something about what's going on. But excuse me, I get the idea of, gratuity for sure. Like, I think I've always labeled it like Showtime sex scenes.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Showtime, to me, always felt like a lot of their shows, their show would be trucking along. You'd be watching like a show that is on Showtime, and it's going, and the story's happening, and you're like, this feels like weirdly cheap, but okay, I'm in. Oh, and then there's a needless, gratuitous sex scene,
Right.
and it's like part of the Showtime like formula. Like, look, you're paying for this channel, so we'll give you some of this. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. HBO never felt like it was handling it that way. I don't know. It is weird. I just think the discourse of like there shouldn't be this stuff, and people talking about like walking out of Oppenheimer is insane to me. I'm like, are we really there now? You're walking out of Oppenheimer?
I know. It's funny. You know what's a really good explanation for this kind of stuff that I think is a good parallel? In Inglourious Bastards, there's the part where Brad Pitt and Eli Roth have the Nazi on the ground, and they carve the swastika into his forehead. You could show that with the shot from his point of view when they put the knife down, and then it shows him later with that. But the fact that the audience watches it happen is like a specific emotion that's being evoked on purpose. Right. And so, yes, you could argue, well, you could tell the story this way. It's like, yeah, well, maybe the person who is directing or writing the thing doesn't feel like that's the right way to explain what happens right here or to make the audience feel a certain way.
Right. And when it comes to non-exploitative, non-gratuitous, film and television, right?
Right.
When it is genuine attempts at storytelling and all that stuff, I just want to be like the people that walked out of Oppenheimer. It's like, are you babies?
Yes,
tiny babies who can't control their own bodies and emotions and need to be taken care of because you bought a ticket to this movie, and the nudity and sex in that is not in your face. It's not, harsh. It's not troublesome. It just makes me think about, like, I don't know, like, how would they handle the VHS era? The people that are this upset, how would they handle, like, all of the shit that was coming out? It's John Waters is alive, but God damn it, he's rolling in his filthy grave.
I think there's a because of social media, there's a performative aspect to walking out of a film.
Yeah.
Like you're bragging of look at how moral I am that I'm willing to throw away $13.50 because I object to seeing fake sex on screen.
Yeah.
They call that pulling a pence.
Yes.
But yeah. I think it's weird too. I think it's weird. It's almost like you kind of get to the point where you're like, well, but using the logic behind this, couldn't you be like, no more swearing? How about those swears? Like, it's the same thing.
What
right?
about all this crazy violence? It's too much violence.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's very strange. I wanted to bring up one more thing, and I completely blanked on it, but that's okay. We're gonna be fine, guys. We're busy boys. We're busy fun boys.
Busy boys.
I wanted to talk about, since we last really recorded, because the last time we recorded was actually February 25th during the day. That's the last time we actually all recorded together. And it was before our live show, the Winter Funderland show that we did at the Comedy Connection.
Yeah.
And, we did the show. I'm really happy with how the show went. I mean, we didn't talk that much about the behind the scenes of the show on the podcast beforehand, but behind the scenes, we kind of did this as in like a different way than we normally have done these live shows.
Right.
Because this is really the first Chuck, Brad, and Ray live show as opposed to a Chuck and Brad live show. And the Chuck and Brad live shows would pull in Ray, but he would kind of be used as like, oh, you're like almost like a cast member, and we're putting it together.
Right.
But now the three of us are putting it together, all of us. And so it was a different process, and also the show was kind of different the way we did it. I'm really happy with how it went. I really was, very, very psyched by the end of the night. With how
same here.
Worked out
I agree. And I got a lot of people that pulled me aside afterwards, and they were like, "This was the best one yet." And I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what was different about it."
Actually,
costume budget.
You know what's funny? In that direction, you know what's one thing I didn't realize that I started realizing a little while ago? We used to do the Chuck and Brad shows, and it would say Chuck and Brad present, and then it would have like whatever. It was Chuck and Brad's Halloween Spectacular, Chuck and Brad, whatever. And I didn't realize that we built a live fan base in Rhode Island for people that go to the Chuck and Brad shows that didn't even really listen to the podcast. They just would go to the live shows because we do the connection like 3 or 4 times a year. And so Funbearable is almost like starting over because it has the 3 of us on it.
Right,
but it's
right.
billed as a Funbearable thing. And I never thought about that. But I was fine with the attendance too. I think the attendance went pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so we did want to say we want to put the whole show out as an episode of the podcast.
Yes.
We filmed it with 3 angles, and we
There
want
was
to put
a
out.
secret 4th angle, Chuck, and I didn't get a chance to tell you about it yet.
Well, I will say my kilt was really heavy.
And my shoe was heavy as well.
But so I think we will talk about the behind the scenes of that show. But what we're probably going to do is put out the whole show and then do a little wrap at the end and kind of talk about the how we put it together and what our thoughts were in doing that stuff. So that will come out at some point soon. And we're really excited for everyone to see it. And I think it'll be really fun for us to have something that performative on the podcast.
Totally.
Yeah. And we're also hoping to put out the sketches individually because it's kind of like 3 different segments that we did.
Yeah, we're going to do the segments. We had stand-up on the show,
Right.
Doug Key, James Firth, and myself. But we're going to cut that stuff out because that's that's
material.
their stuff. That's my stuff. That's material you got to do. That kind of thing. So, but we're
That's material.
We're going to take the bits. We're going to take the fun bits from the Funbear boys.
And a lot of the stuff that we did this time was a little bit more improvisational in terms of how we performed it. So, it's not something that we could really reuse in a different way, which is why I think it makes the most sense to just put it out. And I think I'm really excited for everyone to see it. And I'm really excited to put out some sketches on the Funbearable YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like that's really fun.
Yeah, totally.
Especially with like an audience.
This goes with what we were just talking about. If you want to watch those, you have to be comfortable with sex scenes that are gratuitous, that are exploitative, very exploitative.
The idea of being so pushy about it. So funny to me.
We had warnings up front. We did full warnings and we did fully nude warnings as well. We showed on the screen close-ups of our genitals going, look, get a look now. Take it in, because you're going to be seeing this a lot.
Get ready for a full frontal warning.
Yeah, and Brad had a lot of little costumes for his penis.
So little.
Yeah.
Oh, before we move on, I did want to bring up with the sex scene thing. I remembered what it was. I pictured when Brad mentioned the performative nature of walking out of those things, right? I did have this image of like a very strict religious like husband and wife, very much like the guy who won't kiss any scene partners.
Yeah.
Walking out of a movie that has gratuitous sex in it, and him saying to the wife, like, I'm so appalled by this. In fact, I'm going to buy a ticket for every showing just so I can walk out and people know that I don't approve of it.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going to be doing all this week.
I mean, we had a friend who he was in a relationship, and in Wolf of Wall Street.
Who was this? I'll ask you later.
Yeah, it was the girlfriend was like, "There's so much nudity," and his response was like, "I covered my eyes every time she was naked on screen."
Was this Christina?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it's so fucking funny. So her boyfriend told her that he covered his eyes whenever there was nudity in this movie.
That's what I mean. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're adult human beings, like with fully realized, self fucking power, right? Like,
yeah, but some people are insane. That's
it is
problem.
truly.
Yes.
It's infantilizing. It's like, what are we doing? We are not babies unless you are a toddler. Like, I think you can manage what is okay and what's not okay. You know what I mean?
It's so fucking funny, dude. It kills me.
That's amazing. I covered my eyes.
And then he eventually admitted he didn't cover his eyes, didn't he?
Yeah.
If my wife said you need to cover your eyes when you see Wolf of Wall Street, I genuinely think it would be like, I don't think this is going to work.
Well, and it's like, which is worse, nudity or like the fiduciary crimes that are being depicted here that ruined life for a lot of people.
It's akin to financial anal.
Yeah. Well, worse.
Worse.
Double.
What could be worse? Double.
Financial.
Financial.
Yeah.
Double.
Financial DVDA.
Oh, Brad. Now I have to cover my ears when you say that.
Sorry.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I've known some jealous lunatics. That's really, really, really funny. I love stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh
that's a trust thing where it's just like if you can't handle your spouse watching a fucking movie in a movie theater without that kind of thing, that's like a trust level thing where it's like, hey, I don't think this works.
These two people were fucking lunatics, dude.
Yeah.
It was so funny. They broke up eventually, and she had bought all the furniture and paid for the apartment, and he kicked her out, and he kept everything and just stole it from her. And now they're back together because I saw them at the Comedy Connection.
She wanted her stuff back.
She wanted. That's the only way.
Yeah.
She had to earn it back by being back with this piece of shit.
That's great.
It's so funny. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh man. So yeah. So it's been really busy. I actually thought about this the other day. It's really funny that we're halfway through March as of this recording. So we're almost 1/4 of the way through the year, which is ridiculous. And I think one of the things that kind of made I realized like what happened to me was like when Quinn, my buddy, asked me to go on the Impractical Jokers cruise. It was really hard for me to be like, okay, now I got to set these 5 days aside. Mm-hmm. And so I had to work wicked hard to get those days cleared before the cruise. Then I went on the cruise. And then when I came back, I had to catch up with work. And Ray went on his cruise, which meant we couldn't work on our live show, which was at the end of February. Then when Ray came back, we kind of all had to like huddle together and rush and work on our live show and do as much stuff for that as possible, which was February 25th. Then I had to do like another kind of little dash of getting my work done because I was going to go to Colorado to go see my new girlfriend, Natalie. And it was the same kind of thing where it was just like, I didn't realize that this lasted so long though. Like Quinn asked me on like December like 18th-ish, and that brought us all the way to now, which is like 3 months since then. We just kept coming up against, these rushes of work and then like a thing that we have to wait for, then rush of work, then thing we have to wait for. But me and Ray being cruise boys was part of that.
I'm sorry. I really want to yes and you on this, but you are a cruise boy. That is correct. But I've been on enough now. They've actually upgraded me to cruise man. I'm a cruise man.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah. You'll find out. If you go on some more cruises, they'll start hinting at it. They'll start
you have your
hinting
cruise
at
bar mitzvah?
Is it a requirement to like have a super uncomfortable time on the cruise? Because I'm just probably going to keep getting my really nice rooms from people.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
going to make it.
Yeah. No, I think you'll stay a boy. And Brad, it's a boat mitzvah.
That's much better.
That's good.
I was trying to get to Cruise Seniera, and I'm like, it doesn't sound right.
That's good.
I like that.
Those are both excellent.
They're both excellent and things we shouldn't say.
That's
yeah,
correct. That's
no,
probably
that was great. But yeah,
more
so
accurate.
there's a lot that kind of was just rushed in there.
Yeah.
And I realized today we never talked about the fact that I went to the Back to the Future musical.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, oh my God. So when it was first, I know it opened in London first, which I'm not sure if either of you guys have any sort of understanding as to why did that happen? Do you know?
Yeah. So, one, Bob Gale, writer of
Friend of
Back
Ray's.
to the Future, one of the creators. I had him on Ray Harrington Must Content. We did an interview, and we reposted it on the Funbearable feed as well.
Yes.
Excuse me. So in that conversation, it's when the Back to the Future musical was just starting to open.
Right.
And so we talked a little bit about it. I can't remember the specific details on this. I think it was, excuse me. I think it was part of just like the investors and how everything worked out. They wanted to do the West End first before taking it to Broadway, which I think makes sense.
For sure.
And there is a huge Back to the Future fan base there. They did an amazing. There's a company that does like these events.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. They're almost like staged recreations of like
it's like an
places,
experience
movies?
kind of thing. Yeah,
Yes.
and so they did. They like basically created Hill Valley in the 50s.
Yeah,
And you bought it. It was like super exclusive. You get a ticket. I can't remember. I think it's like something underground or something like that. And
I actually just started a company like that, and our first movie was
excited.
Wonka.
Oh, it's
We did
Wonka.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw
Mixed-
some of your
mixed reviews.
I
Mixed
saw
reviews.
your. I'm gonna say soft launch.
No, that was everything I had. Life savings.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's so good.
I have been saving a lot in this life.
that launch was real soft. I got to be honest with
It was supposed to be a hard launch. Came out soft.
you. Yeah.
Can I, before I get into the musical, so obviously we all know about this fucking bizarre Wonka thing that happened this week.
Yeah.
Like, what is the deal with this? Like, what is the deal? It's so bizarre.
It was a shit idea, and they thought they would pull it together. It's one of those things. I feel like it's somebody with a big grand idea and no skill in executing that.
Yeah.
Well,
and-
do you think it's that, or is it a guy going, we can just like make money from this, and he's like, people will hate it, and it will. I know it'll be not good, but who cares? Fuck them. I really got that more of a feeling than like a guy really trying.
Oh, see, I got the feeling of a guy who didn't have his shit together. Maybe it's because as a comic, I have had to do quite a few shows with people that are like, it's gonna be great, and then you show up and they're like, oh, you need a light pointed at an area where you're gonna stand, right? Like, and it's
please,
just,
this is the story of senior discount, my friend.
So that's what I mean, and I think this was probably something like that. You know what I mean? And they were just like, I think it probably got too close to the actual day, and they were like, well, we got to just go with what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
know
they
you're
shouldn't
probably
have.
right.
But
Yeah, it was so fucking funny. Oh my god, it was so bizarre. One jelly bean per kid. Oh my god, it was killing me reading about this thing.
it was beautiful. It really was.
Yeah, but yeah, so the Back to the Future musical, I heard great things about it in London, and then they announced the U.S. opening on Broadway, and I saw the pre-sale tickets. My buddy Frank Five from the Tell 'em Steve Dave crew went, and he actually sat with right behind Bob Gale and Alan Silvestri.
Hey, that's awesome.
Hilarious, and he talked to him too, and he said it was great. Quinn said it was great, and coming up on Christmas, like my parents love to come visit me in New York. They really enjoy doing that, and I like them to come too.
Where do you
but
meet
I like
them?
they and I like to try to come up with a thing that they can do and kind of base it around. So for Christmas, I got us all tickets for the Back to the Future musical, and I purposely didn't read anything about it. I didn't want to know anything about it. I didn't even look at the cast. What do you got, Ray?
I'm sorry.
You're smiling.
It's not you. It's not you. It's just the idea of like, I wanted to take my parents to the Back to the Future musical, and there is a level of like, the comedy version of this is like things get so misconstrued that the message is you want to bang your mom.
Yeah, right. Of
But
course,
you take
of
her
course.
to Back to the Future. That's funny. That's fun.
Yeah,
I'll
of
see
course.
myself
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
but it was funny.
Well, do you guys know the content of the musical, or do you don't know anything about the musical specifically yet?
No, I know nothing.
I
Did you look up any spoilers? I just don't know if
I
you
have a
did.
joke. I'll skip the joke, but I will say, so our friend of the podcast, big fan of the show, Lee Leshin.
Yeah,
I
He
swear,
told
if
about
you
it?
put Lee Leshin and Sabrina in a room and say one of you is going to be the biggest fan of Funbearable, I don't know who's coming out of that room alive. But I do know this. Sabrina's German and Lee is Jewish, and it's part 3.
I just spent a week with Sabrina on a boat, and believe me, she's she can be intimidating. She can shake up the room.
That's fair. That's fair. Lee, you
true.
got, watch yourself. Watch yourself. But no,
It's
he
true.
went. He went to see it, and he was telling me, bits about it because I might take Finn to go see it.
Yeah, right.
So did you guys just see balloons on my screen?
Nope,
Balloon, did you do that, Brad?
I did not.
I was mid-sentence. You could hear my brain slow down when I saw the balloons, where I'm like, why are there balloons there?
Some of them came from behind you.
It's insane.
You didn't do that?
I had nothing to do with it.
Who did it, Ray?
Yeah, I did it. I ballooned myself.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm thinking about taking Finn when I get back from this crazy Alaska trip. We're gonna go. I have to do 3 weeks in Alaska.
Yeah,
so to make up
that's
for
right.
that time, I said I want to go. That's in June. In July, you and I will go on our own, father-son trip. We're gonna do our thing. And so we were talking about what potential things to do, and that was definitely one of them.
It's going to be a dude's trip with Ray, Finn, and Uncle Chuck. That's going to be so much fun.
No, he doesn't have an Uncle Chuck.
Did you hear what I said? And Aunt Lee.
And Aunt Lee. Oh, how dare you.
Have a good time, boys.
What about Brad? What about Aunt Brad?
Great Aunt Brad, you piece of shit.
Finn's like, I don't like Aunt Brad. She's very religious. She's always saying that. We tried to watch Back to the Future, but she said it was a sin.
Yeah.
So
time travel goes against God's will.
That's true.
It
And
was
that's why
right the
Doc
first
deserved
time.
to die.
Yeah.
if God wanted us to travel through time, he would have given us flux capacitors. But dude, I went and I was like, I don't know what to expect from this. If you think of Back to the Future, I think it does have a little bit more musicality than the average, like 80s like blockbuster. But it's not like there's 20 songs in it. There's like 4 or something. There's not that many. So I was wondering how they were going to expand it and how they were going to play everything. Dude, when I went to it, it's the stage and there's this huge, like, basically the entire theater is taken up by like electronics and all these different things that kind of look like the inside of the car going throughout. And they're active with lights the whole time, so they interact with stuff that happens on stage as well. And they really changed the character of Doc to be a little bit more comedic. Mm-hmm. The kid who plays Marty is fucking killer. Everyone is killer. George McFly is more of a character, and I think he's more of what they were originally, because they shot more stuff with George for the original movie, but it wasn't necessary. Like if you watch the beginning of Back to the Future, he pours himself a bowl of peanut brittle.
Yep.
And that's actually from a scene that they didn't include in the movie. It was about him getting pressured into buying the peanut brittle from somebody else.
That's right, yeah.
They had already it had already been established by Biff coming in and kind of bullying him about the car after the accident.
Right.
So all the actors were incredible. The music was awesome. Dude, the visuals were so fun. And they really perfected the idea of like, we're going to tell this story. We're going to ramp up. And the final 3 moments of the big moments of the play happen in succession. And dude, I had tears in my eyes. It was so effective. It was so great. Me and my parents were so blown away as well. We couldn't stop talking about it. We came home and we came back to my house, my apartment in New York, and we watched Back to the Future 2 right afterwards because we were just so psyched up on Back to the Future.
That's awesome.
Dude, I can't recommend it enough. And if you're one of those people that's like how are they going to turn this into a musical? I don't love musicals. I'm telling you, it's so great. It's so well done, and it's so tight. And when you see the car come on stage for the first time, if you experience the whimsy and joy that I felt, oh my God, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I couldn't believe it.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, I'm really excited. I do want to see it. I really do.
Oh, dude, you and Finn would have a killer time seeing it. It's so great. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I did hear that they have, because Lee was telling me about like it's a little more family friendly with a couple of the lines they changed. Like, I don't want to get into too many details, but he did tell me that they changed up. It's no longer the Libyans.
Oh yeah, it's not
Doc
even
Brown.
It's not. Yeah, it's not even.
There's nobody. Yeah.
There's nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, they do a different thing. They do a different thing, and I get it because there had to be a conversation when they were putting this thing together, and they were like, I don't think we should say Libyans.
Well, it's
what
funny
do we say?
It's funny because in Top Gun, the second Top Gun, you know how they basically were going after an enemy that was just completely unnamed?
Yeah.
They could have gone that route. I think a big part of it, because they also cut out something else from the movie, which was Biff's car. That's not in this as either. I really think that they were like, we only want one vehicle in the whole movie.
Yeah, I think
which makes a lot of
that
sense.
makes sense.
Of course, it makes sense. Yeah, and so I do think you're right about the idea of saying Libyans first of all, but also, I really think they were like, let's just keep the car as the special thing for us.
And there was one guy in the room that was like, I don't know, I think we could change it to something else. What else ends with Ian?
You know what I thought of? I don't know if Brad has ever told this story on the podcast. I thought about this the other day. Brad, do you remember when we were, because I think Ray will love this. Ray might know the story from our personal lives. I'm not sure if we've told it, though. I dated a woman named Wendy Arabian. She's super sweet, very nice woman. I'm still friends with her. She's great. And Brad, do you remember your faux pas?
Yes.
Tell Ray. Ray's going to love this so much.
I don't know that I need to tell it on the podcast. No, so her last name was Arabian. And one night, the three of us went out to eat. Mm-hmm. And we went to a restaurant called East Side Pockets in Providence. And they serve essentially halal food.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's all halal food, but it's all, Middle Eastern food.
That's right.
It's all Greek to me.
Yes. So we're placing our orders.
Where'd that balloon button go?
Hold on. Let's back up for 1 second. Did anyone really press the balloon button for Ray?
I did not press the balloon button.
I swear to God, I did not do that.
We're on Zoom, and there's 3 different screens, and while Ray was telling his story, a million balloons popped up on his screen.
In the middle of me saying, I want to take Finn to see, and then I look up, and there's balloons going by my face, and I was just genuinely like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, I know it wasn't me, and I know it wasn't Ray. No, and that is the end of what I'm certain about.
I don't know anything about this. I'm wondering if there's, like, you know how on iPhone iMessaging, if I put like congratulations to Ray, it'll do like an automatic thing like that with confetti. I wonder if you said a word that triggered a thing. Do you know what I mean? Because you were talking about, you were like I'm gonna go out for. Oh, was it his birthday?
No.
You said you're gonna go out on the cruises, and then. To make up
for that, I'm gonna.
We're
gonna take a trip together. No, nothing there.
Let's try to hear a celebration.
Congratulations, you did it!
Happy birthday!
Innocent on, not guilty on all charges.
Pitiful pedophile. That's our exercise vocal warm up. All right, so we can't trigger the balloons on our Zoom screen, but Brad, finish your story.
Yes. So
Middle East Pockets.
East Side Pockets.
Sorry.
And something happens where like Wendy got the wrong food, or her order was wrong, or something.
She's like, I'm allergic to chickpeas. Is that a problem?
Well, and I said, just goofing. I'm like, classic Arabian screw up. But I said it in the middle of this Middle Eastern restaurant.
Oh no.
Classic Arabian screw
up. Brad.
Her name.
No one knows that.
I knew it.
I knew it, Your Honor.
How good is classic Arabian screw up?
Classic Arabian screw. He's looking around the restaurant as he's saying it. He's nudging other people sitting behind him. Yeah. Classic Arabian screw up. You know what this is? This is one of those classic Arabian screw ups.
It was,
He's eating hummus with his hands.
Yeah, they think they're so smart because they invented math.
I didn't say they. It's she. It was one person. That's what I meant.
Classic Arabian screw up.
Classic Arabian screw up.
You know, the funniest thing too is that you could have made the same joke with the word Wendy. You could have or you could have just phrased it differently so that it was a person and not a people. But classic Arabian screw up when they messed up her order is the funniest fucking thing ever.
That is.
There's a reason I hadn't told the story on the podcast, Chuck. So thank you,
Brad. Remind me never to go to dinner with you and my friend Steve Israel.
Yes.
Yeah. Buddy Israel. That's a Jeremy Piven's character in Smokin' Aces.
Is it?
Yes.
You know what? I wanted to ask you, Ray. Do you like Smokin' Aces?
I haven't seen it since it came out. I saw it when it did come out, and I remember really liking it then. I don't know if it holds up now. I don't know.
Did you see The Gray with Liam Neeson?
I did not.
So Joe Carnahan is a director, I think, and writer of Smokin' Aces, and he also did The Gray. And he also did a movie that's kind of like a smaller action movie called Stretch that didn't get a lot of promotion that I really recommend. But The Gray, the marketing kind of made it seem like Liam Neeson.
Leslie Nielsen.
Well, dude,
man. Now I want to see Leslie
Liam
Nielsen in every Liam Neeson role ever.
Liam Neeson is doing a new Naked Gun movie, taking over for Leslie Nielsen.
That's fun.
Yes.
Flip it. I want it flipped. I want Leslie Nielsen to go, I've got a specific set of skills.
And then it cuts away, and he's doing devil sticks.
Yeah, and he's whittling, and he's fucking doing a painting, and he's doing all that stuff. I love that. I love that idea. I want to see Leslie Nielsen as Dark Man.
That's so good. But no, so they marketed The Gray as like Liam Neeson kind of versus like wolves in the wilderness.
Yeah.
But that's not really the story at all. Remember, Brad, we watched it?
Yes.
It's so moving and awesome. Anyway, I watched Smokin' Aces again recently. Dude, it's one of my favorite action movies. I think everyone killed it. I love the way it is. I don't know. Anyway.
There you go.
It was really great. If you haven't seen Smokin' Aces, see it.
Well, here's a quick recommendation because my wife and I are watching this right now. And speaking of action, more like lighthearted action stuff. But Guy Ritchie, I love Guy Ritchie. He's one of my. I have a soft spot for Guy Ritchie. When he shows up, it's real fun. Sometimes he doesn't show up. You know what I mean? He directs a movie and his heart's not in it, and you can feel it.
Right.
But when it comes to like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, I even liked Revolver. Like those movies are so fun.
Rock and Rolla.
Rock and Rolla is fantastic. The Gentleman was also very good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that
Matthew
yet.
McConaughey. So Netflix just dropped a new television series called The Gentleman by Guy Ritchie.
Wow.
Is it a follow-up to the movie?
No, it's its own story, but it involves that same wheelhouse of someone with a landed gentry in modern England, also getting involved in like the criminal world, and it's really fun. We're halfway through it. My wife and I are 4 episodes into 8. And it's just fun. It's not earth-shattering. You're not going to watch this and be like, oh my God, but it's just really fun and really well done. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd love to watch that. Have you heard about Shogun? Everyone's flipping out about it.
Oh, I'm watching Shogun, baby.
Yeah, Ray was flipping out about it.
I was.
How was it?
I was doing backflips over it.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's very good. It's fantastic. And I was talking. I was talking to my friend Jeremy, who is a history professor, and he's like, it's very historically accurate as well. So
that's great.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's very good. It's a lot of fun.
My mom is like, a weird thing about my mom, she's very into like a lot of stuff from like Asian culture, I guess. And she loves the original Shogun. And what's the show with David Carradine that was huge?
Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Kung Fu. But she loved the original
legend
Shogun.
continues.
And she texted me and she's like, is this new Shogun? Everyone's talking about it. Like, where is it? Where can I watch it? And so, but like a ton of people have been posting about it.
Oh,
and
it's
I want to watch
fantastic.
it.
It's very good.
I gotta see it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went to the Back to the Future musical. I just wanted to say that it was great. Brad and I went to the Pinball Museum.
Yes, with our buddy Wade. It is in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Perked up.
Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It's like the Electromagnetic Pinball Museum and Arcade or something.
I feel like the Simpsons joke of this is people walking out going so loud.
Yeah.
yeah. I wrecked Brad in skee ball that day. I fucking rocked that bitch.
Jesus Christ, you're sounding like it sounds like you did to him on the skee ball what happened in the movie The Accused. You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
You did unwilling sex to him on a skee ball machine.
No, we played games of skee ball.
I have a real arm when it comes to skee ball. I throw it too hard and it bounces off the ceiling and it's like almost breaks the whole thing.
It was dangerous. It was very dangerous.
I know I'm playing the wrong way. I have to wait until whoever ons the place walks out of the room to play the way I play.
I feel like Chuck walking by a skee ball is like he does the kind of strokes his chin and goes, a thinking man's game. And then he just winds up and hauls off with those hard skee ball balls.
I'm saying it as a joke here, but I really do play like that.
It was off-putting.
No second date?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I embarrassed him. I humiliated this motherfucker. Right, Brad?
I don't think so.
Well, all the ones that you won were like practice ones.
Yeah, well, I won multiple rounds.
All right, this is now veering into an online couples therapy session, and that makes me the therapist, and I don't want to do it.
Good choice.
But we had fun. We went to Burgundian Waffles, which is excellent. We got chicken, dude. We got chicken and waffles that were so top tier, right? I don't know if you're a chicken and waffles guy.
I like both things. I've never had them together.
You never had chicken and waffles?
Nope, just said that.
It's interesting because you've toured in the South and stuff like that. Like I remember when you went to Texas and everything.
Oh yeah, Texas. Yeah, not the South.
Well, it's the South, isn't it? Or is it the West?
I mean, it's Texas. You know what I mean?
It's specifically kind of
South. Like a beast unto itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. So I wonder where
the beast with one back.
Mm-hmm. Where are chicken and waffles very popular? Where were they popularized?
I'm not going to answer this question.
I don't know the answer. Is it bad?
I imagine kind of through the Mid-South and Deep South. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always thought of it as a Southern thing. I guess maybe because I think of fried chicken as like a Southern thing. But Burgundian Waffles, we've known Shane for a long time. He's the guy that owns it. He started out as a truck. And we went to the brick and mortar location with Wade.
He started out as a truck?
It started out as a truck.
Okay.
And the chicken and waffles were insanely good.
They were great.
It was so good. And then Brad was like bragging about how he could beat me in skee ball. And so we went to the Pinball Museum.
And then you pushed him down.
It's a Chuck Truth.
Yeah, Chuck Truth.
You really skied his balls.
Yeah, but we did. But it was fun to go there with our buddy Wade, who's a great guy.
That's
and
really
I also,
fun.
Yeah, it was really great. I also under my topics, I have a heated mattress pad now.
Okay.
It's really nice.
The content that the Funbears are here for.
Yes, you are a pregnant dog.
So it goes under your, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It goes under your sheet. You turn it on an hour before bed. You get into bed. The way I describe it is a dry jacuzzi.
Ugh.
I don't like that description.
I've heard a woman describe that to her gynecologist before.
When I come back, I'm coming back to Rhode Island tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm gonna film in the morning, a couple things. Come back. You both have to come in and get into my dry jacuzzi with me.
No.
You got to try it. You got to.
All three of us. All three of us at once.
We can all fit, Ray.
We're going to reenact the Seinfeld Rolling Stone cover.
Ray, you've been in my bed before.
That is
and
true.
And you know that it's large. It's a big bed.
It is a big bed, yeah.
So we'll all fit.
I know. I don't think my concern was not would we fit.
I think that's it. That's the only problem you had, I thought.
I have a strict kind of policy. I didn't realize I did until just this moment. That just whenever an adult of any kind, man or woman, says, you got to come over and get in my bed, I just say, nah, I'm good. And I think I've just handled myself well, like through life that way. You know what I mean?
Are you sure? Even when they describe their bed as a dry jacuzzi?
Yeah, yeah.
I think.
What if they were Canadian and said dry jacuzzi?
Well, we're gonna all get in. And we'll see if you change your tune. But good stuff.
The tune I'll be playing is on my little whistle that has a certain 4-letter word on the side of it.
It's really great though.
I had to point this out really quick because we're going through topics here. I had a situation happen over the weekend, and I didn't call to say like, what the fuck with this moment, right? And I wanted to wait and bring it up because it was a very unique thing. Now, keep in mind, have not told the story of my worst show experience yet.
It's true.
Wow.
That still has not been told. What's that?
Wow.
We've been teasing that for 6 months.
Yeah, it's going to be a pregnancy. It's going to come to term. It's not going to be a preemie story.
That's what I'm hoping.
It's a premium story.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Ugh. That sounds like somebody going preemie. Yum.
Where's the balloons? I want to make them fall down this time.
So I did this weekend. I had let's see, my son's birthday.
Right.
was
Oh,
on
happy
Sunday.
birthday.
He's now 10 years old. It's insane. He's a decade old. It's wild.
When we started
to
hanging
me.
out, he was way younger.
Yeah, he was. He was young, dumb, and he was very recently come.
Terrible.
That was very funny. I'm happy with that. But anyway, so I also had shows in Connecticut all weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? I was doing shows in Connecticut, bouncing around everywhere in Connecticut. And I did a show, and this genuinely was a new experience at the end of this show. That I was like, wow, I've been doing this for a while. This should not be like something that happens randomly. So I did a show. It was at a lovely place in a moneyed town, and everybody was nice. And the show was a little funky because there was a vibe in the room that was like every once in a while I would throw out a joke that was kind of maybe about the place or what's going on in the room, or do some crowd work and play with that. And, like maybe something self-effacing or like a quick throwaway joke kind of thing. Nothing mean. You guys know what I do on stage.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You slay.
yeah, exactly. I lay on the stage and I cover myself in honey, and then I dare anybody to come get it.
Yep.
But so there was a weird vibe where people were like, every time I would like throw out a quick joke, people took it as like I'm mad. Like I was angry.
Like you're dealing with hecklers, you mean?
Yeah, stuff like that with the crowd work. People thought I was like mad at the people that I was talking to. I'm like, no, you say a thing and then I make it funny.
Yeah.
I'm not, and nothing was mean. None of it was mean or inappropriate. I was just kind of dealing with the thing. There was a woman that was like, she had gotten a little drunk by the end of the thing and was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it was even that I was handling very nicely. I wrap up the set, everything's fine, people are happy, and I talk to the owner, everything's good there. There was one awkward thing. I don't even want to get into that. I was doing some crowd work with a girl who a comic before me brought up her chest. She was wearing a low cut shirt and she was well endowed.
This is a cleavage situation?
Yes. He brought it up. You could tell she felt uncomfortable. Later on, I went on stage and I was talking to her, and I wasn't talking about that stuff because I was like, let me give her like a positive interaction so she doesn't feel bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, you saw the comic first do that.
Yeah. So that situation happened. Everything was working out, and then she was, as soon as I was like, in the conversation with her, like, what do you do for work? Getting into that stuff, she was like kind of shitty, and I went, oh no, like, you kind of suck. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't helping. And so I go back and forth with her. I said something, I can't even remember the phrasing of it, but it was like the most innocuous thing that was a callback to the fact that the previous comic had been inappropriate by bringing it up. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
She took it as I was bringing it up. And it turned into a thing, and that was all done. Anyway, that was all over. Everything was fine. Talked to the owner of the establishment. He's like, yeah, that's my daughter. And I was like, oh, hey, sorry about that. But he was like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Like, you were fine. Nothing, So, like, everybody understood. Everything was good. No one was mad at me. They all really enjoyed the thing. But I felt this feeling of like, why do you guys think I'm mad? Have you ever been, maybe with somebody or maybe even a friend that is like, are you okay? Are you pissed off? Are you mad? Are you mad at me? And they do it, and you're like, no, I'm not mad. And then it happens enough where you go, okay, now I'm mad. Right?
Yeah.
I think, you know what? It's funny. Like, earlier today, we were talking about the fact that I'm dating someone who lives in Colorado, and we've been talking a lot on the phone. And I was like, oh, we should bring up our flaws to each other. You know what I mean? Almost as like we're starting to date kind of thing,
Okay.
And I think one of my flaws, and I think Brad has this too, and for me, I consider it more of a flaw, but Brad is more of a silly.
Oh, is the flaw that you pull people under the bus with you?
No, so
No, his
my
flaw is that he
is
pushes people up against a skee-ball machine.
Yeah.
And then
sometimes.
Sorry, I cut out for a second.
Sometimes when I am on task, I'm only on task and I can't divert my attention. And I'm so focused on what's supposed to happen that I can't be pulled away. And like, how sometimes we feel like when the podcast is going to end, it becomes like me and Ray are joking and riffing and Brad just keeps butting in trying to close the show.
Sure.
That's what it is. And I think, and actually it's happened between me and Ray before where I'm getting ready before like we're doing a live show or we're setting up, and we were setting up in like Connecticut for our best video shoot. I'll be doing stuff and Ray, you've been like talking to me and I've been like, okay. And I'm answering you quick as I focus on the thing. And you're like, okay, is everything okay? And you've been like, what's going on? But I know I put off that vibe of like, nope, now I'm a robot and here is my task.
Sure, yeah.
And you're just pushing me away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think me and Brad both have that, but I think it has definitely come off in the past. Like I'm mad when really I'm just not. For some reason, it's harder for me to divert my focus to something else. So I answer really short and really quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go like, okay, yeah. And I'm focused on the thing, which sounds like you're pissed or you're annoyed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, this situation was so bizarre, and I wanted it, like multiple times in the set, I wanted to be like, can we start over? Because I think you have the wrong impression of me. Like, I'm not angry. I'm fine. Everything's cool. And the thing was, the show went well. It's not like it suffered in any way. Like, I did very well. Everything was fine. But here's where the bizarre part happens. All that happens. This is what I wanted to get to. It's then my time to leave, right? I've said goodbye to the other comics, shook hands with the owner. So the weirdest part of the whole story is this. Like, that's just like the background of the this we think you're mad at us kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This moment happens. I'm leaving. I have to go through the people to get to the door. So I'm going through the people. Everybody's like, they're doing the thing after the show. Oh, great job, that kind of stuff. And guy shakes my hand. He's like, you were great. And the people around there at their tables, they stand up and start clapping.
It's weird.
To me, even though the show is over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of the place all do the same. Like they see the cue of this one large group of people that have stood up and are now clapping. And then the rest of the people stand up and they're clapping. So I'm getting a post-show about to leave standing ovation. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, I appreciate it. It's nice. Right. I feel a little guilty that I can take something like that as like, oh yeah, okay. You know what I mean? I feel guilty. It's nice. It's nice that I can be like, that can happen. And that's great. I appreciate it. But it was weird timing. And so I made a quick joke about it. And just like a quick little, oh, thank you very much. Like I'm addressing everybody now as I'm trying to leave, right? As I'm about to walk out the door. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That made me feel worse, right? Like joking around. Mm-hmm. And I threw out the thing of, sometimes if I get like an applause break where I'm not expecting it and it's kind of fucking with my rhythm, I'll throw out like, oh, you guys clapped like you didn't think it would be funny. Like you're making me feel like I'm running hurdles in the Special Olympics. Right. Like, oh, good for you. I didn't think it could happen. I didn't think you could do it. And it's just a fun whatever. So I throw that out there. No laugh. People look kind of like, oh, right? Like, oh. And I leave and
like wounded.
Yeah, and then I heard a woman say to who she was with, oh, he hates us, as I walk out. And I wanted to go back in and go, I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not mad at anyone. It's just weird timing, and I'm sorry for this miscommunication. I don't hate you. I really appreciate that you gave me a standing ovation as I go to leave the room. Thank you very much. I'm the Elvis of this town. Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, Elvis now. Not even back then.
Jesus.
Elvis now.
Yeah.
But it was so weird. I've never been in a situation where a room full of people think I am mad at them, and I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, it was such a bizarre experience.
Yeah, I wonder what it was. Do you remember your first crowd interaction? Maybe that set it off. Was it the cleavage girl?
No, the first crowd interaction is so this was. Yes, so it was this restaurant bar place called Fork and Fire.
Okay.
And it's like a nice restaurant. It's a nice place, and they wanted to start doing a comedy show. So another comic had reached out to me, said, "Would you do this show?" Mm-hmm. So they closed the whole place down. They had this show. Like, it's nice. You know what I mean? The way they did it, they handled it well. This was not like a bar show. This was not like a random dinner and a show kind of show.
Right.
It was good, and it was nice and tight. They packed that fucking place, and they closed. Like, if somebody tried to come in to get food, they'd be like, "No, you got to buy a ticket." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. I mean, there was like an overspill area that was packed. It was great. They had a small, very tall stage for this. So when I went up, the first things, the host introduces me. I come up, and right at the handoff, as soon as I step up on the stage, I hear multiple gasps, and I hear a couple of people go, "Oh, God." Because I am a 6'7" big fat man.
Yeah.
And I think the height of the stage emphasized it. And it's it was such a like.
He was 9 feet tall.
Yeah, it was like an intimate setting, and everybody's like packed in. And I think it was like whoa, he's a lot bigger than the other guys. You know what I mean? And it was, so I played on that for like 5 or 10 minutes. It was just 5 minutes of just like talking about how that made me feel. But like in a joking way, everybody's laughing. We're all having a fun time. I'm laughing as I'm saying some of the riffy shit. There was never a moment where I was like even jokingly coming across like I was angry.
Yeah.
And it was so bizarre to get a standing ovation and walk out and hear, "Oh, he hates us." Was such
that is crazy.
Like they're diametrically opposed, right? It was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had that
bizarre.
experience, and I don't know how you fix that. And as a socially anxious person anyway, like I'm not socially anxious. I think I have social anxiety. I feel like there's a difference there.
You're very conscious of how other people look at you.
I don't like let it overtake me. I don't even let it show, probably, unless I start to know you a little more. Then I can show you my soft underbelly that's riddled with all the horrible feelings inside my body. I was trying to think of a better thing to illustrate that. It went away. Oh no, guys, it's back. I have the social anxiety right now. But I've just never been in a situation where, like I said, a room full of people in a town I've never been to before, and it's like a kind of well off town, right? And just like I walked out of there going, "This town really likes me, and they think I hate them." Like that's the takeaway here. I'm driving away like
classic abusive relationship.
Yeah, it was so bizarre.
Say, it's a classic Arabian screw up.
Yep.
It was a real Arabian screw up.
Yep.
Hummus all over my face.
It was an accident.
That's what they all say.
They do say that.
But yeah, so that was a bizarre moment. It really was a bizarre moment. I guess,
funny,
Brad,
man.
I should ask you, because I think when you left that restaurant, I think the people that worked there all turned and said the same thing. Oh, he hates us.
I mean, they were right though. So
Yeah, go Brad.
And
but
they-
not for the reason you think. They put so many things
sauces,
in a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm against.
I heard they
Just
gave
the
you a
number.
standing ovation, but because you were leaving.
Yes.
Oh man!
But yeah, it was such a strange thing. I don't know if it's worthy of telling on the podcast, but it was just such a bizarre experience. It was like the Twilight Zone. It was really strange.
I mean, it's funny because I do feel like I go I've seen a lot of comedy shows where when a comic has a playful interaction with an audience member, I think that the audience member sometimes doesn't see that the comic has a responsibility to keep things laughing, keep the mood up, to keep the laughing going. And so they take things a little bit more personally. Like they take very soft little jabs or things that could be said to anyone personally. But it's very strange for that to apply to an entire crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
it was
that's what it
bizarre.
sounds like. It sounds like that situation to me, but on a mass level of that show.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was really, really strange.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really funny, man.
What a fun
So
sequence
weird.
of events. You know, I had that, and then I was telling you guys right before this that the show the next night, wireless mic died 10 minutes in. The backup mic died 2 minutes later.
Oh,
and then
boy.
35 minutes of just belting in this place's grand ballroom.
Nice.
This was not a small venue. I didn't say that. I didn't make that clear. I much rather would have gone without a mic from the venue before that. You know what I mean? This one, the grand ballroom, no mic.
You were Luciano Pavarotti.
Yeah, hey, there's other guys you could have said.
I don't know the other names. What's the
Ursula
tenors?
from Mermaid.
What is that? One of the tenors?
The fat opera singer that's trying to kill Bugs Bunny. What else?
Who's
What else?
Andrea Bocelli? Who's that? Is that a person?
Did the whale that swallowed Pinocchio sing?
That's funny, man.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Well, guys, I think we did it. It's getting very late, and my brain is stopping the work time. Did that make sense?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's how people phrase it.
I
much sense as we
appreciate
usually
the
make.
ability to like do this while I'm wearing my slippers, you know, on Zoom. But I do think we miss some of the magic that can
course.
happen. And magic I have with an R with a circle in it because it's a registered
Yes.
trademark, and also an asterisk. And at the bottom it says not that magical.
No.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Because
We'll
boy,
be back
what
together soon, recording more episodes of Funbearable. Folks out there, thank you so much for watching or listening. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, hit us up, funbearablepod@gmail.com or any of the socials @funbearablepod. Always happy to hear from y'all.
And of course, next week we'll be back in person. This was just a specific,
Yes.
you know, we've been like we said, we've been busy, and it's funny because we did paint ourselves into a little bit of a corner with the way that we treat October 1st through December 31st.
yeah. As a cavalcade of festival.
And then since then, it's just been crazy. So,
Yeah.
you know, one Zoom every 40 episodes, I think is okay.
And
Yeah, it's not
honestly,
too bad.
like, what else can we do? Brad isn't getting his house arrest stuff done for another 5 days.
And I
I
can't
know.
get out of my dry jacuzzi.
Your jacuzzi.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
hate it.
Ugh,
That's what a
dry
terrible term.
jacuzzi.
Terrible.
I still dry off afterwards. And I
Awful.
take a long time to do it.
All right. That's more than enough. Folks, for Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable. So we're going to do a
You ever
little-
go down
weird,
like a dry water slide?
we're going to do a weird tag on this.
Metaphorically.
You just hear like just that skin squeak. Ouch.
Yeah. of course.
Ouch. Although I will say this, oh no, this should be a part of the episode. Damn
Wait.
it. If you lived
I'm still
near an
recording.
abandoned water park when you were in high school, wouldn't you have broken in?
For
Yeah.
sure. Are you kidding me?
Well-
100%.
I'll say it now, but there's no way I would have then. So
Well, if you had like 5 friends who were doing it and you were with them, you'd go though.
I would go and I would wait in the car.
He would go and constantly be like, guys, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't be
absolutely.
in here. Guys, we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And then one of the cool guys, probably the tallest and biggest one, would say, "Guy, well, we're at the dry water park, but somebody brought the wet blanket, right?" And I would say that, but my arm would be over the cool girl, her shoulder and neck, and I'd be holding a 6-pack of beer in that hand as well.
Oh, what's Chuck doing during this whole thing?
Probably eating her out.
Ray's face. You have roller skates on your knees so we can keep walking.
Ray looks down. Oh, I didn't know you were spoken for.
I hate it. All right, I'm pressing stop on my recorder.
You could stop. We're going to keep going. So then, I think...